Hey, welcome into the special edition of the GASOCast. We are live shooting at Outpost 36, the best barbecue in the Metroplex.
And we're not just saying that.
Yep, true.
Been here multiple times.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think it was something that was much needed after a crazy 2 days. We tip off our Gasso Fall Tour in Duncanville. Crowds were electric. The games were big time. Give your opening thoughts, Blue, on this weekend.
You can never have too much basketball. 102 teams to tip off that fall classic, with fall tour, I'm sorry. It is, I'll just say it, it's the biggest tour in the state of Texas. We're gonna be in Waco next. Just my initial thoughts is that there's so many great teams in just in the Metroplex alone. I'm ready to get to the next stop and the next stop and the next stop, just to see how everybody's gonna line up team-wise here in the state for each classification.
Pictures say 1,000 words.
Yep.
I tweeted a picture that was, I would say, encapsulated the whole event. 2 p.m. on a Saturday in the state of Texas, and it's a sellout. I mean, it is just Blue 2, Duncanville Fieldhouse, a tradition unlike any other. Elite. It was a blast. And I think I also said I focused on quality over quantity in my evaluations this weekend, because if you try and watch everything, you're going to get bogged down and you're going to end up watching nothing.
Yeah, I think one of the things for me that, the teams that we've come to know have these rich basketball traditions, those are the teams that early on in the fall just figured out. Not to say that but for example, the team that I want to just spotlight really quick was South Grand Prairie. We had them going pretty early in the morning, and they just go out there and look like they're the hungriest team in the state right away. A lot of 2025s that, I'm sure in their locker room they felt like they underachieved last year, so they come out with that chip on their shoulder.
That's right.
And they got a lot of dudes, and YouTube game is up right now on Texas Hoops TV, them versus Dallas Kimball, and they just went straight at Kimball.
Yeah, and last year, Brandon Bennett, immediately after a couple of their games last year, he felt really good about the team and where they were heading. And like you said, you got it right on the point there. It's like they're hungry. I think that they feel like they have a lot to prove, and they'll be okay just kind of going under the radar and let everybody else get the hype.
Yeah,
I think it might be hard for them to go on the radar, if I'm being 100% honest with you.
Yeah, you do what you do at the Gasso Fall Tour, and it's going to be hard to fly under the radar with how big those crowds were and how people were eager to see some high-level high school basketball.
Right, and to kind of pivot and kind of seeing a mirroring of situations, you look at Plano East, and this is where they were last year. A group of players that have been on the varsity for a minute now, and they're growing, getting better, and we've seen what type of monster they've turned into, right? It's the same type of thing, and really, really excited to see what they do.
And I feel like
forward.
We always go back to TABC because we get to see them a little bit quicker than March and February. We get to see these high school teams, and after what Plano East did at TABC, they have a target on their backs.
Yeah,
they're not going to fly much under the radar either.
No, and it's like, if there was any doubt, it's all been stomped out. They're only getting better. One of the guys that I just said was an absolute star this weekend is DJ Hall. The whole team. You can always talk about that whole team.
The DJ Hall that I drafted on my Gasso fantasy draft.
He was nice.
Speaking of that, man, that's fun. We're going to do it again very soon. I think for San Antonio, we're going to do it again. And one of the things is, my young homies, maybe we didn't draft you, but this is just a fun, it's just fun. Where they're evaluating, my boy TJ Birch. Hey, you didn't get drafted, but you did exactly what you're supposed to do and go put on a high-level performance in a sellout crowd on Blue 2. That's what you're supposed to do. So regardless of all the fun we have, a lot of y'all are our guys and have been Gasso guys for years. So don't feel slighted or anything like that. This is just fun.
Yep, no doubt. And I don't want to.
Sorry, my bad. But yeah, DJ Hall was on my team. So
DJ Hall was ridiculous. A new guy who got hurt last year, and Blue's going to spotlight him here, Richard Ankton. Another player to add who's a really good shooter, who's really tough, who can play in any style or setting.
Yeah, for Plano East, he just slides right in there. He's in there, my goodness, he brings more speed, more quickness, the ability just to kind of bounce off the floor at about 5'10"-ish, being able to knock down some mid-range jumper with that lefty shot of his. He just fits that mold of who they are. That's just another guard that you're going to have to pay attention to. And I said this yesterday on Twitter. My number 2 team in 6A going into the preseason.
Well, and here's the thing. It makes an already dynamic team more dynamic when you put another point guard along with Isaiah Brewington. Now they don't have to take a true point guard off the floor, handle pressure. That's what I'm just saying. Stylistically, they can play with anybody, anytime, anywhere. And that's where you want to be. You don't want to be matchup dependent, right?
Absolutely. So yeah, let's just go through some more players. How about that?
Yeah.
Everybody likes that idea? Let's
Yeah.
do it.
I'm in.
So one guy, I mentioned that we covered South Grand Prairie versus Dallas Kimball. And it's fall, it's early. I don't think Dallas Kimball's over there licking their wounds after, what happened Friday. But, I mean, they still walk around knowing that they got some dudes to go to war with. And one of those guys was Jonah Brandon, 2024, 6'3". As a highlight guy, shout out to my videographer, Jarrell, this weekend. He covered that game. When I'm going through the edits, I see Jonah Brandon coast to coast, one-hand cup, Euro step over the top for the lay. And I'm like, okay, this guy can do some things. And he continued to produce in that game. And gives Kimball, a guy that can go get his. And I was very impressed with Jonah, a kid that really wasn't too familiar with. So shout out to Jonah Brandon. Like I said, Kimball, traditionally, they're going to be fine. Very fine.
I think that the to your point, what I like about this is I'm sure Nick Smith and the coaching staff are sitting to go, it's September, guys. Yeah. Calm down. Talk to us in March.
Yeah.
Where it's very easy to sit here. Some people might go, oh, it's September. They're not ready.
Yeah.
No.
Absolutely.
I think they've proved the last few Marches
Absolutely.
where what they can do and what
Mass,
they need.
talk about this first guy on your list because those highlights are freakish.
Yeah, David Awizi, seeing a lot of strides. I never really questioned the potential or the upside of what this guy could do. It was always about
Are you able to do two things at once? Are you able to be versatile?
I'm not.
Are you able to be versatile in this?
Oh, man, I'm going to try. Hold on. David Awizi, I'll be back. I'm going to talk about you. I'm not done. Throw it on. We're ready to eat it.
I'm bringing in a little bit of a distraction for you.
What do we have here?
What do we got here?
All right, guys. So we got prime brisket, sliced smoked turkey, pork ribs. This is our mild house-made sausage, an armadillo egg, which is a cheese stuffed
Go ahead, Sam.
jalapeno wrapped in bacon and sausage. And then we've got our turkey here. Also, we've got potato salad, green beans, mac and cheese, home-cooked bread, and pinto beans for you.
Okay.
Well, I don't know what y'all are eating.
Outpost 36, best barbecue in Texas. Don't miss it. Be here, the Metroplex. Come in.
We are here, and we're going to attempt to continue to talk high-level basketball and some high-level barbecue.
With the smell, I don't know. We might need to take a break. I don't know what to do.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, guys.
But back to David Awizi.
I'm glad that you remember who you were talking about.
Yes, I got it. High school. It's never been about the talent, but you see the body trimming up. I saw him dive on the floor. I'm seeing all these different things that have just made me believe in the talent more. And like I said, I saw him doing stuff on the perimeter that I've never seen from him before. He's got a chance, and I think he has a chance to take a jump into some of the elite of this 2025 class in the big men. I mean, it's already an elite class for that, and David's making his case.
And we have several other bigs on our list as we go through here, but I'm going to go ahead and jump to Adrian Mathis, who is a move-in from Barcelona. He adds that point guard that Lake Travis needs to really go deep. And if he's trying to find his way a little bit on this team, but there's a lot of playmaker in him, being able to get downhill, shake off a defender. He's not doing no-look passes, but he kind of understands where his guys are already going to be, and we're only a month into school. He's scary good because once Hudson Greer, I think we'll see the complete Lake Travis team on September 23rd in San Antonio. Oh, gosh, them along with Brendan, that 6A Region 4 just got better.
Absolutely.
What do we think, what do we think about Lake Travis? Like, tell me your thoughts. Are we putting them into no-brainer contender going to be there? Or do you think there's still some maturation they have to do as new coach, new guys in, young superstar kind of deal? Tell me your thoughts.
Well, just looking from when I went down there last season to watch them play against Westlake, and then to now, the kid that has continued to make a huge jump is Jaden Thomas. Mm-hmm. And one of the benefits of some of the top-ranked guys in Texas being on visits or being on camps this past weekend was you got to see some other guys step up and show that they're capable of being alpha. Another team, for example, Brooks Barr didn't play. Steven Ramirez showed he was kind of an alpha, and
Drafted.
that was your guy. Jaden Thomas, who I drafted as well, kind of took that role. But yeah, him, Chase Beagle, Adrian Mathis now, they have a lot of ways that they can compete, and I think they all are confident enough to go out there and feel like they can play with anybody.
And we lumped them into this category last year.
Yeah.
However, there's like Timon said, there's this maturity level that comes along. And when you added Brandon Shaver as your head coach to slide on in there, and he gets the benefit of these players that were left over for him, golly, they are a complete team.
I'm sorry.
Well, I mean,
Can we get some boats?
yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
But no, yeah, I agree.
So-
But I think right away they feel like they belong. All right, it was such a big event. Unfortunately, some teams, Blue said they signed up. Yeah, some teams want to get in there early, and Fort Worth Eastern Hills got in there early, and Alex Barther made one of the earliest statements possible at our GASO Fall Tour in Duncanville. It's funny, one of my group chats is like, hey, how good can Alex Barther be when it comes down to this 2026 class? And he just continues to get better and better and more consistent. He's a gamer. The physicality translates. He's knocking down shots. He has a nastiness to him. And that whole, he's just what Fort Worth Eastern Hills is. They're all like that. And they're just a fun group to watch. And talk about the guard that you drafted on your fantasy team.
My God. Oh, who was it? Hold on. I thought I was gonna talk about Eastern Hills.
Yeah, he's on there.
Oh, who did I draft? I don't even know who I
Gilbert.
that was me.
That was Bill.
Oh,
Oh, that was me. Yeah, it was.
Okay, I'm not that.
I was
big
trying
of
to.
an idiot.
Yeah.
I like Dorian Johnson. I saw this young man. He's got some upside. I saw him hit a three. Saw him go over the left shoulder. Plays really hard. I talked about it on Twitter on Saturday. The group is just deep at all positions. The Briggs brothers, Cam McGillivray. Go.
Yeah, change of pace guard. He can get him going. Got the size to go defend out on the perimeter. He's just going to be a complete a guard for them, do whatever they need to do. But when that ball is in his hands and he's able to make a decision and get down the sideline or set up in the middle of the court, you're going to have a hard time guarding this guy.
Absolutely.
The team. Just in general. I'm gonna pop over to a 2027. Arlington Martin, got a ton of dudes, love their program, love their culture. You know what you're getting every time you see Arlington Martin. They put a consistent product out on the floor, and they're strong in the stable. And I'm going to go with a 2027 guard named Aiden Gross. Now I walked over
Next
there.
gen.
Big next gen guy. When you see a 2027 on the floor, you're just looking for a couple things. Do they feel like they belong?
True.
They've got some pop. They show some skill. Obviously, they're there for a reason.
True.
But this guy, I think I saw him have 8 points in the half that I was there, and he was kind of commanding the offense, playing point guard. And like I said, this is a program. Like, this is a senior laden. Every year there's a new senior that's just like, you're a dog. And Aiden's out there, and this is a freshman with a very senior-led program, and he just looks like he belongs. I'm all in on that kid. I can't wait for y'all to see him and to feel the same way.
Well, I'm going to jump right in with another big. Denton Braswell, you and I were both on the same court for a little bit watching Malachi Hubbard, and I thought that he was full of energy. He was aggressive.
Grown man body.
I don't want to give it too much away here, but he's playing against Ty Herndon from Crandall, and I think he even lifted his game a little bit throughout the match. But Hubbard, I just thought that he was in the right places at the right time. He would run the floor. He would do the dirty man work, and he was a really good teammate overall too. He just played his role, and he wasn't complaining because he wasn't touching the ball. If he wasn't touching the ball, he'd go make a play.
Yeah. And I thought he was exceptional at like walling up on defense, and he just very low maintenance player. And when you see guys like that are really low maintenance, that don't have to have touches and all this, and that are still impacting the game, just wait until they start getting touches and start impacting the game in other ways. It's just like he's a player.
Yeah, 6'7", 2025.
Built like a house.
Yeah, I failed to mention.
House.
For me, David Coe, 2026 Grapevine.
Yeah.
As a sophomore, his ability to make everybody better, regardless of who's there at Grapevine at this point. There's gonna be some new faces there around him, but he's just able to be productive and get it done. Alpha right away, can get his, just the toughness, and I mean, a lot of the qualities he has as a 2026 as a point guard and a lead guard, sometimes you don't figure out until you're a junior or senior, and those qualities he has now, which makes us as evaluators, more confident seeing what his game is and what it can be, because some of the leadership qualities that he has already, are check boxes. Yeah. So for him, Grapevine played in that evening slate, but just another guy to keep an eye on that continues to ascend his game.
But like you said, some guys transferred out, just gives him more opportunity.
Absolutely.
No doubt. I saw the game that they played against Dallas Skyline, which was a epic point guard battle. You go to Jalen Brown, has all the tools. I mean, one of the most freakish athletic kids there is, ridiculous speed, and he makes a lot of splash plays, but now he's starting to connect those splash plays, and they're starting to just become like consistent. And this is just who he's becoming. He's a really good point guard, really fast, and I'm seeing improved shooting. It was funny, I was actually chatting with him, and he was like, what half were you there for the game? And I was like, I was there for the first half. He goes, I thought I played really well in the second half. And I go, dude, I saw you score 9 straight points in the first half. I'm not sure there's a better stretch of basketball you could have played, my man. Just a kid with immense upside. College coaches, he needs to be on your radar, because he's a guy that has a chance to just kind of break out, because he has the physical, and now things are starting to come together for him. Fun to see.
I want to set you up for this one, Michael. Eric Moore from North Crowley. Yeah. North Crowley, man. I mean, it might be a little cliche that they're always in the top 10. They always finish there. I think just early on, Tommy Brackle has so much to work with a lot of senior leadership, young guards, and talk about Eric Moore, because this team is going to be ready a lot sooner than what some might expect.
Yeah, the thing that stood out about Eric Moore is that you go to what you said, they're loaded. So you have KD Davis, you have Kamani Sieber, you have, you're going to get a lot of eyes, because 2027 next gen Isaac Hayes is coming in the door.
Gosh.
But when you want to make a deep playoff run, you have to have depth. And Eric Moore provides you that depth to where he may not be your first option every night, but he can get it going very quickly to where a coach is going to need to call timeout and say, all right, we need to adjust because this guy's kicking our butt. And Eric Moore, smooth, just makes all the right plays. I won't call him necessarily a glue guy, but he keeps all 5 guys on defense honest. Because if you're trying to focus in and your game plans to go stop Kamani Sieber, KD Davis, Eric Moore is going to kill you night in, night out. And he showed that right away that he's not afraid at this moment.
I think it was maybe Gasso Memorial or the second live period. He had a game with 4, 5, 6 threes, just bombing them all day.
And we expect North Crowley to make the playoffs.
No.
Yeah. 25 games, it's a wrap.
30-win season.
So down the stretch in big-time playoff games, not everything's going to go the way you're gonna expect it to go. And I think there's going to be a time, sometime this season, where Eric Moore is going to win them a game or multiple games.
We're going to be talking about them in mid-February when the brackets are all set and we look at their path to regionals, as we do every year.
Absolutely.
Might see another incredible Keller North Crowley matchup, which Sam got to see. We didn't get to see.
Yeah, we didn't get to see.
Mass, what do you got?
Let's talk about Zach Brown.
Oh,
Amarillo.
Goodness.
No
Hassan.
Okay.
That's fine.
But you know what you're getting out of Amarillo. Like, they're the team that you look at and you're like, oh gosh, they do everything right. They catch, they square, they don't waste dribbles. Like, they just put so much pressure on you, and it's like, oh, I get to take a breath. Hassan's not here. No. Zach Brown, they got a next one up. 2025, hit threes all weekend long. Really tough kid, really tough player. Got a lot to like about him.
And we talked about him, and he's a Mr. Dependable. You know what you're going to get every single time down when that offense starts opening up. He's going to touch the ball. When he was open, he hit threes, and he did it in bunches. And he was the one out there, I thought, really kind of controlling the Amarillo offense and being able to set people up. And his teammates were looking for him. When you have a kid like that's that solid, and oh, by the way, a coach's son, when you're able to have him out there as a leader, a lot of things are going to a lot of good things are going to happen, because he just sees so much more than kind of your average guard out there.
Yeah, and he's just dynamic. Got guys that can do a lot of things. That can pass well, can dribble, can knock down shots.
Yeah.
Translate.
So I'll do another one here. For me, one of the things I love about doing YouTube game recaps is that, one, I get to film them, and two, I get to go break them down so I get an extra look at things.
Sure.
And I left that Duncanville Taka game. I even told Ani, I was like, you have some guards and some dogs to go to war with and take that show on the road this year. But then there was a wing that I looked back once I rewatched and edited in Perico Smith that was doing so much that it takes like all the winning plays for Taka. Getting offensive rebounds in the post, shooting the three ball, the mid-range, guarding some of the longer wings that Duncanville had. And as much as I couldn't stop talking about J-Span and TJ Birch, Perico Smith really like tied a bow on that performance for Taka and was just one of my standout players this weekend.
That's a good one. I'm gonna steal a guy from Blue because I had to put him on here before Blue talked about him. Nico Lucero from Birdville.
Yep.
My gosh, like that guy is too smooth. He knows how to play. He knows how to score. There's just not much I don't like about Nico. You know, he can score in multiple ways. He's going to be great with that Birdville group. If I could run it back again, I loved my high school playing days. But Birdville gets to shoot like 28 threes a game. Coach Holman, sign me up.
Yeah, I popped over there for a few minutes, and Nico and Trent Bowers. Like, it was just like, I tweeted, I was like, it's just a lot of fun over there.
Yeah, name to watch, Avery Webb, 2026. Bombed 2 threes right when I walked over there, and I was like, man, seen this cat, saw him at TABC, got bigger, stronger, added Sawyer Dotson. Team's nice.
Absolutely. Blue.
Oh, I'll jump in there with Caleb Richard that I drafted. And
Good pick.
he was just over the weekend. I saw just a little bit more from him, and that's what I like to see from these next gen players is that you see a little bit more. And he was so confident knocking down those threes. One game he hit 3 or 4. He's controlling the ball whenever he gets out and runs. The rest of that Timber View team needs to stay up with him because he's so fast down the court that switch it on to defense. Another long, rangy guard that I really like. I think that he's got a lot to his game. He's going to continue to progress.
I've watched them play Highland Park, and I was talking to the Highland Park coaches, and they were kind of getting onto their players like, haven't y'all figured out? Like, he's a red guy. Like, you don't let that guy touch the ball. He's a red. He's a red guy. Don't let him like out of bounds. He doesn't touch the ball. On the other side of the ball, Riley Darren.
Yep.
Come a long way. Played with Family Ties. I believe he was like kind of on the varsity a little bit last year on the JV, but he's 6'9", athletic. Highland Park the last couple of years have some really good bigs, so it makes sense that this guy was developing and that he kind of had the breakout that a lot of people told us was coming.
Yep.
And that's really fun to see it all come together for a guy. When you go to a Highland Park game and you see this group this year, you're going to be impressed with what Riley Darren can do down low. Obviously, they have another big in Jordan Stribling and some other nice players. Still surgical,
but to add a little bit to your points here is that they have really good guards that can go out there and get their shot and shoot it. Adding 6'9", because Jordan's about 6'6" and does so much underneath that basket. He's a warrior, but 6'8", 6'9" now. That just adds something else in the bag there for David Peeler.
Yeah, for me, Cy Fair made the trip up to Dallas, and I'm glad they did because they brought with them one of my favorite point guards in the state, Mac Reed. When you're looking for a guy that's just one of those high-level, high-field, true point guards, I mean, he fits all of it. Cat-like quickness, transition, he's a blur. And my favorite quality about him is that when he's on the court, all 4 of his teammates are always ready to get the ball because he can make every pass on the court, and they're always just ready, whether it's a corner 3 or a big man that off the pick and roll. They all know that there's a chance that this electric point guard can give him the ball. And Mac Reed, I mean, I want to post a highlight on Tech Soups TV. His just decision making in tight areas. I mean, if you haven't coached college coaches, like, if you haven't seen this kid and you need a point guard, you need to go look at Mac Reed.
I woke up to something this morning.
Yeah, what was it?
Blue sent me a text with a Twitter video of Mac Reed and goes, he's so smooth.
Yeah, you watch him within
really?
that
True
Cy
story,
Fair,
bro. True story.
in that Cy Fair offense of what they do.
I didn't know.
You kind of
that's news to me. Like, Okay.
Just watching when you slow down the tape, one of those moments of
Yeah.
like, man, this guy's crossing over, switching
He can do so many
hands.
things
Yeah.
fast without, like he doesn't have to slow down to make his moves. and
No,
it's just,
not at
he
all.
Always feels like he's under control. Love him.
All right,
Let's-
I'll hop up.
okay.
Do you want to pop in?
Well, I was going to say, let's go back to back here with the Nanchas over there from Dallas Hillcrest. Okay,
Don't forget
you
about
guys.
him.
Yeah, you start.
Jed, I've always been a big fan of Jed. 2025, Dallas Hillcrest. This guy has a mean motor that never stops, and he just is a producer. I love when objectivity can kind of take over my evaluation of a player, because Jed, every time he plays, it's a double-double, it's a wrap. This guy's going to play hard. He's going to get a lot done. And I hadn't seen him in a minute because he was injured. He came back, had a strong July, and I didn't see him. But to see it in September, I was very, very excited. And then on the other side, his brother.
Israel. It's kind of same thing. He kind of, this is a big, strong word. He disappeared in the summer. But now he's back. And I could see a different style of maybe a sense of urgency of, you know what, I got to step up my game to be one of the go-to guys, to be one to lead this team along with Jed. However, his aggressiveness, his ability to just run down the court, mix it up, smell where the ball was going to be, go grab it, run the court, go dunk it. Everything just like looked like it was coming all together for at least a couple of moments for me, which was very exciting because they are a little bit of the forgotten guys.
Hey, and don't forget about him.
Yeah. And before I hop off, because there's some damage I would like to do off camera.
He doesn't have a plate like me and Blue.
True. But I just want to really quick talk about Duncanville.
Yep.
A lot of questions, I guess.
Not for me.
Not for me either. You know, but from some of the fans of basketball, they're like, oh, they don't have a Ron Holland. They don't have an Anthony Black, you know, but they have a culture there. And as much as we see Duncanville winning, like, if you know their program, they work so hard. Like, and you can see that there's guys the crowd for Duncanville Taco was electric. And there were guys on that court that I'm sure a lot of the fans didn't know who they were. But when you are a David Peavy and that coaching staff, after you saw this weekend without BJ Davis, but Cameron Smith coming in and pedigree guy, because big bro Tyler Smith playing with G League, he's going to come and be a difference maker. Caden Edwards has taken that next step, and just is like, I mean, how do you stop that kid?
And I think this might have been the one of the few times where you look at Duncanville playing and you go, who's that? You have to look at your roster so many times. But like you said, the culture, the program that has been developed there, everybody kind of just, they know, well, this is our go-to guy. We got to get the ball to Caden Edwards, or we got to, how are we going to adjust? They know those things, and they are really an extension of David. I mean, it's I don't know where they're going to fall in terms of like, but by the end of all of this, we talked about it in the office. I mean, are we jumping off by saying they could wind up in San Antonio again? No.
It's early September, and they got two freshmen that are going to be ready to go very quickly with Chris Hunt and Beckham Black. So
and their roles are perfect. I don't feel like
Absolutely.
they're going to be asking them to do too much. I
Yeah.
think they're going to develop nicely over the season. Beckham has great feel. Chris looks like a totally different player, even from the TABC. He just looked like he belonged this weekend.
came in, knocked down a shot.
Yeah, wasn't
like,
afraid.
yeah.
Fearless.
Absolutely.
Like,
So-
just doing what Duncanville guys do.
So on the YouTube recap, Taka ends up beating Duncanville by 12, but leaving that game, I was like, okay, Duncanville's going to be fine. Similar to the same way with Dallas Kimball.
Taco's one of the premier teams
Yeah.
in the state.
Yeah, Ani, I told him right afterwards, I'm like, man, you got you can take that show on the road if you want, and you can play in a lot of big games. So I'll let Blue and Mass finish. I'm going to slide off. Who else y'all got to talk about?
Well,
I mean-
you blued him, and I don't think you meant to, but DeMario Adams.
Yeah, DeMario.
From
You
Pace Academy.
you talked
Well, I
about
loved
him.
him,
You talked about him yesterday in your recap. I'm going to have one also on my Twitter at Gasso Blue. But I love the bigs, man. Just in general.
Moving from Oklahoma.
At Pace Academy over in McKinney area, I believe. But he just, the way he can run, I think he's one of those guys that's like, oh man, he's playing against consistent Texas guys, and so what's going to happen is that he's just going to get better out of just the naturally playing against bigger, better competition. And
the athlete.
here go finish. He's going to rebound.
Mario.
Yeah.
Adams from Pace.
Yep.
Oh, he's good.
He's really nice. He's nice.
He's good.
We got the checkbox. All right.
Bryce Dixon, did you get the chance to watch the Colony at all?
I did not.
Okay, I'll go. I'll jump. No. Bryce Dixon, the Colony. He's playing with the Car Spear, X Green. You know, they already have this loaded class of 26. And then you add Bryce Dixon, who is one of the toughest, no-nonsense guys around in that 2026 class. He went to our Gasso Next Gen. He got hurt really early on. I saw him in a Pinkston game where, for whatever reason, he wasn't playing. And so I see him this year, and I know him as the tough guy, the guy who gets a lot done, a lot of rebounds, a lot of production. Then I saw the jump shot, and I was like, oh, okay, he can do that too. That's really going to be helpful to that Colony group. Young group, fun group. Look out. Late in the season, hey, you just want a shot.
Coach Cleve, sorry about that. Like he said, quality over quantity, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I wasn't able to step out there.
This just shows we're not all watching the same things. We're not watching just one court. I think this stuff matters, right?
I'm going to throw it. Well, I was going to throw one real quick. Go ahead and go with Wyatt Seal from McKinney.
Yes, saw Wyatt Seal this summer. He showed flashes, but it was nothing like what I saw this weekend. He was making threes. He just seemed to be in his element with McKinney. And as I've talked about a couple times on this show, McKinney, kids thrive at McKinney. They just play such a free, open, decisive game. And Wyatt just looked very comfortable knocking down shots, scoring around the rim. He's only a sophomore.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and throw my last one out here is Cooper Smith. Cooper Smith, 6'4", Rockwall Heath. We're going to talk a lot about their next-gen kids with Paxton Ivy and Ryan Hampton. But Cooper was the MVP of the district, I believe, last year. I mean, this guy gets out there and does whatever it takes. Now he has some young guards I think he really trust. Yeah. So now he's actually going inside a little bit more to go do some of the heavy lifting. And also he's skilled and everything else that goes along with it. But he's a guy that you need to start putting on your radar because we will, I think, senior season, you're going to start hearing more of that name.
High academic kid as well.
Yeah.
Last guy I'm going to talk about, Rustin Griffin. Okay, Rustin looks so poised for his senior year. He played incredibly well in the game I watched him. It's all come together. You need to get on him. He's got length. He can shoot it. He can get downhill. Plays really hard. He can guard a lot of spots. Rustin Griffin is someone who needs to be on radars. And I loved seeing him. It just looked like, hey man, him and Jensen Knowles, it's like it's their team. Yep. It's cool to see these guys growing up and maturing in that role.
I just made a decision right now that these last guys, I'm going to save it for my tweet, and so
okay,
that's pretty nice.
That's fair. Yeah. That's a good group.
You
of
might
guys.
have one of these that you already talked about, but I don't care.
Yeah,
I'm going to do it anyway. So,
hey, like I said, we don't really discuss who we're watching or what we're kind of doing on that weekend, so we just kind of go with it. But again, Outpost 36. I want to make sure you know that delicious food. Clearly, we're not done. We're about to go destroy something all set. But thanks for tuning into this GASOcast, and we'll see you next time.